guys, what's up? So today we're gonna talk about creating a nice low end for techno breaks, electro tracks, and yep, let's go. So to me, a good low end should have a really nice, decently sounding sub bass, and also some of the low end kind of bass line or like a tom or like a kick drum which is doing the job for you. And the sub is going to be created with the help of a 808 long sub, which I most commonly use. So here I have a kick drum which goes like this, just a basic 4x4, right? And I'm just gonna rewrite this as sub. So let's just make like a simple pattern. So now here's the trick about making the sub bass. If you make the sub go in the same pitch, it sounds a little more serious and not so groovy. For example, that's that. But if I go a little haywire on the pitch, it starts sounding a little more groovy and funkier. For example, this. And that's kind of it with the sub. I don't usually do a lot, but I'll tell you some few examples through which you can create some textures around this with the help of the sub itself. So I'm just gonna make a EQ adjustment here. So I'm just listening to the. Also, I'm just gonna sidechain this to my kick. Right. So now to enhance the flavor of this, you can also use amp, and also we're gonna use most of them being stock plugins. So let's just delete the EQ here, and I'm gonna put EQ8 right after it, and let's test it out with the rock preset. I'm just gonna lower down the volume a little bit, right? And I'm just gonna isolate my subs. So the rock preset is kind of dirty, and if you want that dirtier kind of sound, you can go for it. I think for this one, I like the blues better. Even this is fine, not that bad. Right. So the next thing which I'm gonna do is now create some textures from this sub itself. And for that, I'm just gonna record this sub into an empty audio track. Let's do this. Right, that's it. And now let's just delete all of this on my audio track. And let's just stop this sub for a while and just let's write here texture. Right. Let's get a grain delay now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm also gonna use a shifter maybe before it. So what the plan is to create like a weird kind of tone using the shifter, like an atonal space. I'm just gonna write a number here, for example 110.54. It kind of goes in the 111. Okay, that's fine. And now let's start using the grain delay on this. Right, so you can see what's happening is we're getting that subby frequency, but also because of the shifter, we're getting like a shifted kind of a pitch, and I'm gonna spray it out too much so that I can get this very wide kind of sounding broken texture. probably somewhere around here was a really nice one. I'm just gonna get it back to 110. Right, so that's that. I'm gonna use a EQ8 after that so that I don't need that sub frequencies anymore. I'm only looking for this very wide kind of a sound, and I'm just probably gonna phase it out so that we can get some movement going on. Right, it sounds pretty good to me. Let's also try to achieve some echo or a delay through this. Sounds cool. So I'm just gonna duplicate this as well, and the next texture which I'm gonna create is just by maybe doubling the length and increasing the pitch to the next octave, and probably looping like a very particular size of this sample. So So you can see what we just got is like a very hypnotic kind of a texture, and I can also add another set of movement to this using a filter and a LFO, maybe just adding like a really subtle kind of movement. Now let's come to the toms, which is going to be for the bass line. So what we're gonna do is, I'm a huge fan of using toms actually in my tracks rather than like a synth bass line, because it kind of gives your rhythm a very drummy feel, and your tracks sound a little more rhythmic than what they can sound with the bass line, because they're very synchronous with the drums, or the kick drums, sorry. I like to keep it also in a very minimalistic space, so I'm not overusing the toms, but probably this is something which I can achieve. Also, let's get another tom which can be complementary to the first tom. So tom 1 and tom 2, right? So the tom 2 can have like a different kind of a tom, or maybe like a kick drum also sometimes work out. I'm gonna go for like a different kind of kick drum, very acoustic, maybe over here, right? And maybe let's just push it somewhere else so that it doesn't clash with the same and creates like a rhythm. turn them a little bit to the left and right. And let's add one final tom. Okay, so I'm gonna use this very deep toned kick now, so that I can get like a very deep toned kind of a tom, but it's actually a kick. Also, I'm just gonna group everything together as for now, because I'm not gonna dive into mixing, but I'm just gonna sidechain everything together so I can get to hear my kicks a little better. And yeah, that's kind of it. So you can see like it's pretty easy, but the thing is that you should know what you're kind of doing and what you're going for. So here I kind of am going for a very textural but also minimalistic kind of a rhythm track. This is probably how it might sound with a hi-hat piece. Let's just find some hi-hats and see how it sounds. Okay, let's see this basic hi-hat pattern and see how it sounds. Also, I'm just gonna add like a little bit of reverb to add some flavor to the hat so that it sounds a little more fuller when we listen to it. Yeah, so I might just get lost in this, but that's kind of it. And let me know if you really like this one, and I'll probably put this up for download so you can, just grab it and use it in your own productions. And yep, that's kind of it. See you soon. Cheers.